All right, guys. Well, I'm back today to discuss why I think it is a great time to prepare, but not to panic. In this video, we're going to be discussing a lot of preparedness items, some great buying opportunities, and some things I think you should avoid. I posted a video similar to this a few weeks ago, and since then, a few things have been updated. I've read a few reports, and we're going to dig into some of those details. Now, with that being said, none of this is financial advice. Don't take it as financial advice. It is just things that I'm doing to personally prepare and good buying opportunities I see across the market in general, especially in the industry that this channel focuses on. Another thing I want to mention is I've got a second YouTube channel where I focus on gear-related items across the board, doing reviews on high value and budget accessories to save you guys money, and that's what both of my channels are for. If you haven't seen my 704 Gear YouTube channel, definitely check that out. All of that information will be in the description below, and there have been some great opportunities to save on knives over there, so you won't want to miss those. I've got more in the pipeline, but now back to the task at hand, discussing a lot of great buying opportunities. Now, the report I read that made me want to make this video was the fact that the total household debt increased to 17.3 trillion entering 2024. This is a new high for the US. This has been the largest increase in a while, and the largest increase of that was actually in credit card debt, and that's what made me want to make this video, along with a few other things. Now, credit card debt actually jumped up by 16.6% between Q3 of 2022 and Q3 of 2023. So these are year-over-year numbers, not just month-to-month numbers. Now, it makes sense that a lot of people add to their credit cards during Christmas time and then try to pay that off. But it seems like between year to year, more has been added and it's going up, not going down. And because of this, I've seen the industry and just the market start to soften in general. Now, some big name brand retailers that I'm not going to name, online retailers, have actually released incentives to their affiliates. How do I know? I'm an affiliate for them. And they're offering different affiliate bonuses throughout January, February, and March. Now, this indicates to me sales are dropping, and because of that, there's a lot of buying opportunities, so you can really grab a lot of good things that you may have been holding off on. Now, with that being said, there's also a ton of stuff that is still incredibly elevated and that I'm personally avoiding until prices drop. Now, one of the first things I want to mention when it comes to that is actually precious metals. Now, I love grabbing great silver, silver rounds, silver bars. I even did poured silver a while back and got into a lot of that. And I was buying silver when it was, I'd say $13 an ounce. And I was buying as much as I could afford at the time. So every paycheck that came up, I was buying silver when it was $12 to $15 an ounce, doing a dollar cost average of the market. So didn't matter if it was 12, didn't matter if it was 15. I was just continuously buying the same money's worth every single month, and it was just kind of averaging out to about $13, $14 an ounce when I was buying it. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't buying gold at the time. I waited a little bit longer to where gold, right at about 2019, 2020 was probably at its lowest. Now, mid-2020 into 2020, it started creeping up, but I started buying gold when it was about $1,300, $1,400 an ounce. At its low in early 2019, I think we were looking at about $1,173. Now, right now, gold is up over $2,000 an ounce, and a lot of guys are saying buy, but I am personally holding off on buying any precious metals right now. I'm just kind of putting a pause on it to see what happens. Again, I bought most of my gold at $1,300 an ounce, and I bought most of my silver at $14 an ounce. So I'm just kind of holding on to what I got, and we'll see where it goes. So right now I'm focusing on things that are really low. Now, this guy right here, Freedom Seeds. That is an interesting topic. We're in some very interesting times, especially with 2024 on the horizon. So I dug into that a little bit more, and I've done previous videos if you want to watch those for more in-depth overview of Freedom Seeds and their price fluctuation over time. But in a nutshell, we're going to start looking at about May 2020 of the 9 variety. We are looking at below 14 cents per round. Now, when we're looking now, we are right at about 30 cents per round. Now, I do my best on this channel to give you a ton of opportunities to grab this. But at its peak, it was well over 60 cents a round. So we are 50% of the peak, but we are still 50% above the bottom. I think we're going to fall somewhere in between, depending on how things go in the next few years. But this is always a little bit more tumultuous than some other items we're going to mention. So this is a good opportunity to grab some stuff and do some, again, dollar cost averaging over time. If you bought it at 15, if you bought it at 50, now you can buy it right at about 30, and it just kind of evens out. And there seems to be some fair opportunities on this. So again, good opportunity now while things are stable and available. And that's the other thing. Anything you need is practically available, very easy to go on and grab. And my campsite page makes a great opportunity of this. Again, my goal is to try to save you guys money. That's what this channel is about. If I'm not doing that, then nobody's going to watch. So I do have a lot of videos on ways to save and opportunities to save and different company discounts. Again, that info is on the campsite page, but let's move along and talk about the next thing I want to discuss, which are consumer items, things that you would grab that you would really only need one or two of, or different things like that. So considering the preparedness community, you may see this respirator gas mask. Now, again, maybe things are softening. I've seen companies like PARCIL Safety right now doing a buy 5 filter pack and get a free mask, which is a great opportunity to save money. Again, if you're interested, I have a full video, but the point is a lot of companies in the preparedness community are doing great incentives, and now would be the time to grab them. Now, PARCIL Safety is a great example of a good company. A lot of times when something happens in the industry, company will raise the price. Every time something has happened where there's been some type of event where people would want to use a gas mask or a respirator, PARCIL Safety has kept their prices the same or did a sale or started a sale to help out their customers. So PARCIL Safety is not a very good example of a company like raising prices when things go crazy. They're actually a really good company, and that's why I'm mentioning them. But it goes to an overall trend in the industry. Small consumer electronics, I also see a drop in prices across the board. But not only that, I think it's carried over to optics. There's a lot of optics specials going on right now, from everywhere from some of the big name brands to a lot of the Amazon brands. I see a lot of deals and coupons available here. And this is actually the golden age of optics, in my opinion. Never in the history of optics have you been able to get so much for so little, and that actually carries over to 2019 and 2018. The technology has dramatically improved since 2018 and 2019, and really just being continuously improved year over year. But right now, again, with a lot of those incentives that companies are offering, seems like the absolute best time to grab some of these smaller optics or LPVOs, full power optics, especially ones coming from overseas. I've actually talked to some of the factories indirectly through other representatives, and some of the factories are down to maybe 10, 15 to 20%. And so we're seeing that reflected in the costs of optics. So I guess that's why you guys have been seeing a lot of high value optics reviews on the channel recently. It's because the prices are dropping, but the technology is still improving. A lot of industry standards for red dots like 50,000 hour battery life, IPX7 waterproof rating, and shake awake technology are the norm for budget optics now, and you can get a lot of red dots sub $100 no matter what type of category they are, and there's a lot of LPVOs sub $250, and that was not the case in 2019, at least not the case for the technology that we're seeing now. I also see a drop in a lot of the prices of knives. If you've been catching a lot of the deals lately, especially over on my 704 Gear, my second YouTube channel, you've been seeing a ton of discounts on the F & Grow knife series. They're actually retooling up a lot of their inventory, bringing in new models and discontinuing old ones. And a lot of other companies are following suit by dropping prices on a lot of different knives to encourage sales and to really spike up those numbers, especially after the holidays. So some of this may be seasonal, but there's a lot of industry trends that are taking shape that are pretty darn interesting. Things like precious metals seem to be super high right now. Things like freedom seeds kind of in that intermediate stage, the quiet before the storm of 2024 in November. And then you have a lot of these other preparedness items, which are the lowest or the best prices they've been in a very long time. And I would highly recommend you grab some of this stuff now before things start just either completely evaporating, drying up closer to 2024, or just companies dropping off in general. They just can't maintain it. These discounts are discontinuing models, or these discounts because companies decided, you know what, I think we're going to scale back on these aspects. We're going to focus on something else, and maybe they'll be gone. So there's just a lot of good opportunities right now. I'm personally grabbing a lot of this stuff, taking a pause on a lot of this stuff, and still utilizing this kind of in that use a box, store a box scenario. Let me know what you guys are doing in the comment section below. Are you grabbing stuff? Are you waiting? What do you think will happen? Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.